The hit Netflix series Adolescence has become a touchstone in recent weeks for a global conversation about the complicated journey of teenage boys navigating toxic masculinity online. The British Prime Minister, who watched the series with his teenage kids, has since spoken out about the hidden radicalization of boys in the manosphere. Adolescence even sparking political action, with its creators invited to testify before Parliament. Now, other digital documentaries, like one called Bad Influence, The Dark Side of Kidfluencers, have also been big news lately. And like Adolescence, they have many parents worried about just what their kids are doing online and if these kinds of shows are helpful or harmful to watch. Well, here to help parents understand when and how to show these types of digital dramas to kids is our digital parenting coach, Elizabeth Milovidov. Elizabeth, it's always great to have you on the show.
Thank you. It's great to be here.
So, Elizabeth, adolescence obviously has been a hot topic. Schools are even starting to show the series in some classrooms. And the doc I was mentioning, Bad Influence, shows the dark side of child content creators. I mean, these stories are obviously powerful. They're very emotional. But are they appropriate for children and teens to watch?
Yeah, I think that's the key question right there, Jeannie, is it appropriate, right? Because, yeah, they are powerful. They are exciting. They have lots of shock value. They draw your attention. They draw your emotion. But is this how we want to teach our children about, how to thrive and survive in the digital world? I think that really you have to kind of step back to see, is your child emotionally mature? Can your child separate fact from fiction? I mean, these are the types of questions that you should be asking in general when you're thinking about giving them a smartphone, or should they have social media access. I think really the most important is to make sure they know they can come to you or a trusted adult if they have any questions or need support.
Right. But just roll back a little bit for a minute. So you talk about when you feel your child is emotionally mature, but like what age range are we talking about really here? What do you think is
Oh,
appropriate?
we're always trying to, find that age and that magic number. It is not so simple, right? You could have a very mature 11-year-old and a very immature 16-year-old. So really, there isn't a magic number. There isn't a magic age. But if your child is capable of critical thinking and listening to you and being very responsible and understanding do's and don'ts, then yeah, I think that you probably could have this kind of conversation with them. You could determine that it is appropriate. What I do want to caution parents against is just allowing schools to show them without any sort of follow-up, right? So what I'm talking about is, support and resources and more conversations just to guide the discussion. Because showing these films, these documentaries, these digital dramas, of course it's exciting, but then we're just kind of pushing our children to the edge of a cliff, and we need to be there to support.
Right. All right. Let's say you've decided I think my child can handle the subject matter. So you were saying there's still some steps that parents can actually take to ensure the best result possible. Talk us through those.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that really the parents they need to be thinking about how they can, if they can pre-watch it first of all, so they can see it before and kind of vet it to find out, is their child going to be okay watching this? Then to make sure that they actually watch it together with their children. Co-viewing is just absolutely fabulous, and I did this with my own boys when we watched Adolescence and Bad Influencers, and actually even years ago when we watched Social Dilemma, which came out in 2020, and Screenagers, which came out in 2016. So this is not the first time, but if you co-watch, you co-view, and you have continued conversations and an open discussion and dialogue, you are off to a good start.
Okay, so watching together, we're going to take our time to watch these shows, which you all mentioned, which are all really great, I have to say, with our kids. Okay, we're moving along, ask questions. What kind of questions? It's hard to know where to start.
Yeah, it really is hard to know where to start, but I think that if you consider that it's not a lecture, right? This is truly a learning moment. This is for you to just talk with your child and find out what's going on in their online world. So things like, what do you think about what's happened, and what do you think the character is feeling, or what should the character be doing? And my personal favorite, which is, have you seen things like this before in your class? Have any of your friends ever mentioned things like this? And again, this is not like hardcore investigation. We are really just having a conversation and just trying to find out a bit more what's happening in the world. And if your little ones feel that you're going to take everything away and totally ban them, then they're probably not going to share and they're going to shut down. And that's not what we want.
Right. And it is hard to roll back from that if the children already feel like you're not going to let them do something. I know it is hard to roll back. But let's say you really are still on the fence about all this. You don't want your kids to watch these shows, but your kid comes home from school with the classic line, everybody's watching it. What do you do?
Yeah, I love that one. That happens to me, and I know it's happened to you. So I think that it is a classic, right? The fear of missing out, peer pressure. These are the times. So you can decide again if you've already seen it beforehand. You can decide if it's going to be appropriate for your family, and then have that discussion. And wait for it, Jeannie. You can also say no. You don't have to watch this film or any other, but you can still be sure to cover the topics that are being covered, because that is something that's important. Talking about online masculinity, toxicity, these topics, we can really take them and talk about them with our children in an age-appropriate way that respects our own culture and values.
Right. And I think it's really a lot of, if at first you don't succeed, try again. I know my own kids have shut me down when I've tried to talk about it at one point, and at another point they'll talk about it. So you got to keep trying, right?
You have to keep trying. And as a wise person once said, really, it wasn't me, is that instead of having one long conversation for 100 minutes, do every day 1 minute. Just keep going. Trying again, Jenny. You've got it.
It does get easier. Absolutely. Elizabeth, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. That's digital parenting coach Elizabeth Milovidov. And if you want more info or tips about helping your own kids in these kind of situations, be sure to check out the website, digitalparentingcoach.com. Thanks so much.